Viewers, here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his wife, Carrie Johnson, welcomed their baby girl on Thursday. The baby is the couple's second child together after their son, Wilfred, was born in April 2020. Johnson, who has been married twice before he tied the knot with Carrie in May of this year, has 4 children with his previous wife, Marina Wheeler. In Canada, the government has formally banned conversion therapy, the widely discredited practice aimed at changing a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Thursday hailed the royal assent, which was granted by the Governor General of Canada. In a tweet, the Prime Minister condemned the practice, calling it despicable and degrading. Under sports, the Chinese government on Thursday warned countries that have announced a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Winter Olympics over the country's human rights record that they will pay the price for their mistaken acts. Wang Wenbing, a spokesperson at the Chinese Foreign Ministry, accused the United States, Britain, and Australia of using the Olympics platform for political manipulation. And Time magazine on Thursday named Olympic gymnastics champion Simone Biles as 2021 Athlete of the Year. The publication celebrated the gymnastics star for helping to propel mental health to the forefront of a broader cultural conversation. Finally, under entertainment, actor Josie Smollett on Thursday was found guilty on 5 of 6 felony counts of disorderly conduct for making a false report to Chicago police that he was the victim of a hate crime in January 2019, an attack prosecutors say was staged. The actor was charged with a Class 4 felony and could face up to 3 years in prison and a fine of $25,000. The verdict came after a trial in which 2 Nigerian brothers, the Oshundairos, testified that Smollett recruited them to fake the attack on him near his home in downtown Chicago. Well, let's begin what's trending with the federal government's withdrawal of the approval granted to Emirates Airlines for their winter schedule. Well, the federal government, in a move signaling reciprocity of action on Thursday, reduced the carrier's daily flights to Abuja to just once a week, following the decision of the United Arab Emirates to cut Nigeria's Air Peace flight operations to the Emirates to once a week. In February this year, Emirates Airlines stopped flights to Nigeria when its operation was put on hold by the federal government following its demand for Nigerian travelers to take the rapid COVID test 4 hours prior to their flight, a move that was condemned by the aviation minister, Hadi Sarika, as discriminatory. The ban was lifted on November 26th after the UAE agreed that rapid tests would no longer be required for passengers traveling to Dubai. Well, first, I'd like to congratulate Nigeria and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority for this act of reciprocity. I will tell you, last week I was in Dubai, and we thought that we didn't need to take the rapid test before we got on our flight. Because obviously the UAE said they no longer require that. Do you know that when we were about to go to the airport, they told us that we had to do that rapid test? And we did that rapid test before, and a lot of visitors, a lot of people that were going to come for the Arise Fashion Week show could not get on that flight because they thought that we would not require those rapid COVID tests. I mean, this thing has been going on with Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates for months now. Like I said earlier, we had a ban in February because of this rapid test. And the fact is, Emirates Airlines have been responsible for a lot of criminal acts. You know that during that ban, they had been charging passengers money. They had been announcing flights, that they were going to resume flights. And during that period, at least they did it like 4 times. During that time, they charged Nigerians money. I mean, if this were to happen in any country, if this was to happen in Nigeria, they will ban Nigerian flights from ever entering their countries. Dr. Abati, I want to start with you on this story.
Okay, you made a point about reciprocity.
Yes.
Nigeria and Emirates flights, we've been on it for more than a year. And then last week or so, there was that announcement that, the Nigerian government had now finally lifted a ban on Emirates flights to Nigeria. But then again, there's something called bilateral air services agreement. Under the bilateral air services agreement that you sign, there is consideration on both sides. And we've complained about this all the time, that oftentimes Nigeria signs these agreements, it doesn't get its own part of the bargain, and Nigeria is just holding the short end of the stick. And I guess within a week, it was realized that this would be to the advantage of Emirates Airlines and the UAE. The Emirates Airlines in particular, was going to be coming to Nigeria, was given the opportunity to have 21 flights.
21 flights.
To Nigeria in 1 week.
Correct.
Both in Abuja and also in Lagos. Meanwhile, Nigerian Airlines had not allowed. Even the Air Peace flight that took you guys to Dubai.
Yes.
It was just because of intervention of the authorities.
Correct.
Air Peace was not going to be allowed. So what is the point? If Emirates Airlines will be flying in and out of Nigeria 21 times a week, and Nigeria will be struggling to allow just one airline to get into Dubai once a week. So what Captain Musa Nuhu, who is the man who signed this reversal, and I guess he has the support of Addis Rika and other relevant agencies, what the aviation sector in Nigeria has now done is to say, no, it has to be reciprocal. The concern previously was about Emirates Airlines management of COVID-19 protocols, which you again referred to. But this time around, you cannot have 21 flights into Nigeria in 1 week, and one airline that can come to Dubai will be struggling with one flight. Okay, so it's reciprocal. You come into Abuja once a week. The Nigerian airline that has access to your Dubai airport will come in also once a week.
50-50,
fair
no
is
cheating.
fair.
No cheating, 50-50.
So I think the Nigerian authorities, the NCAA in particular, and the Ministry of Aviation, summoning the courage to act in this kind of decisive manner is commendable.
Yes,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
the kind of thing you find in Nigeria is that people who have been given positions of authority for reasons unknown to us, often disappoint Nigeria.
Yes.
And they tend to throw their own country under the bus. So I like it when the Nigerian authorities stand up for the country and say we will not be treated shabbily.
Yes, I'm just really upset about the amount of money Nigerians have lost with this airline at this point, Tundu Abiola.
Which is why the government has taken a stand. I don't like it. I love it.
Yes.
Quid pro quo.
Yes.
People have to be put in their place. It has to be communicated as strongly as possible that you cannot jerk us around. We cannot be abused. And I think this is just the best thing ever. They have come to the defense of their citizens. Good.
Fantastic. Rufai.
I mean, very, very happy towing the line of Tundu. In fact, I feel like speaking my very funny French this morning, not great French, je suis très content. I am so happy, very happy at things like this. Because you see, when you look at it, it is always us on the receiving end. And concerning the monies they've collected from Nigeria thus far, they said they were going to fly. They should bring in, Federal Competition Agency into this and Consumer Protection and Safety Council, headed by Dr. Babatunde Rukara. He should investigate those cases. Nigerians that bought those tickets should forward those tickets to Dr. Babatunde Rukara at the helm of that agency. He should investigate. I know he's going to do a fine job as regards that. Secondly, it's good, Dr. Abati, you raised this issue of this, base agreements we normally have across countries with BESA agreements we normally have across countries with airlines. Because I'm also now going to extend that to the UK. We signed an agreement with the UK, but the agreement is not balanced. Britain has 2 airlines coming in, British Airways and Virgin. Where's the Nigerian airline going to Britain? None, as I can speak of as for now. So we should also use that to caution Britain, because Catriona Lang was asked a question yesterday, that's the British High Commissioner, and she was trying to be very smart. When they asked her that, based on the science, should we stop British flights too from entering Nigeria? She said, no, we shouldn't do that. We should just follow the science. But based on the science, you can see Tottenham Hotspur An entire football team riddled by COVID. Leicester City riddled by COVID. Community spread of Omicron. So we too should now use that Barca agreement to talk to Britain and say, you guys, you need to do the needful. Because we must defend our country.
Yes,
it's
Rufai,
a
you
sovereign
cannot be
state
more
everywhere.
correct with this.
So apart from this that we've done to these people here with Emirates, Britain is next.
Extend it to Britain. And I think they're even lucky to be able to fly into the country, because what Emirates have done is completely criminal, really unfair. Well, we'll take another story. A video that is now, we'll take our final story in Italy with reactions. Following a declaration by Pope Francis that lust is not the worst of the 7 deadly sins. Well, according to the pontiff who made the declaration on December 6th, there are worse indiscretions than sex outside marriage. The leader of the Catholic Church disclosed this to reporters on board the papal plane after accepting the resignation of Paris Bishop Michel Aupetit, who had an affair with a woman. Pope Francis said the bishop, who has since asked for forgiveness, had resigned not because he had sinned, but because the gossip about him had left him in a position where he could no longer govern the diocese, further stating that sin of the flesh were certainly sins, but not as great as sins such as hatred and pride, and that the bishop had been a victim of an injustice. Reacting to the Pope,
what they call yabis, but I think the point that the Pope was making should not be lost on us. He didn't say that committing adultery or, getting involved in untidy relationships is okay. He wasn't endorsing it. He was saying it's a sin, yes, but there are greater sins. Sins about hate, about pride. And this is a Pope who has been speaking a lot about global peace, about crisis in the world, about the need for global solidarity.
Yes.
And look at what pride and hate, those two major moral evils and omissions have caused in different parts of the world. Whether you are talking in terms of how the Chinese treat minorities in Xinjiang and other parts of China, or you are talking about the kind of conflicts that we have across Africa, putting Africa behind, or the kind of conflict you have between China and Russia and Australia, or that you have between China and the United States. It's all about pride. It's all about hate. It's all about, So I think that the Pope's statement should be taken beyond the Archbishop of Paris, who found himself in an untidy situation. Yeah. And that, some of these archbishops who go out of line, that in itself is a major issue in the Catholic Church.
Of course.
How the church responds to that. And even before the present Pope, that issue had been on the table. So I think that...
Right.
Just talking about...
The fact that it's a lesser crime than hatred or gossip, exactly.
Which it is.
Yes.
And even the Bible recognizes that, and the Bible is the authority. I imagine that the Pope would be citing, as he is the Pope, talking about, Jesus himself. If you have those Bibles that have red letters, I'm sure you have one, Dr. Abati.
No, I have a whole shelf of Bibles.
I know you do. Yes. I know you do. Talks about light beatings and severe beatings for this person or that person. And talks about it will be worse for this town than that town. So there are degrees. And I think the Pope also has been reading, I imagine, Dante Alighieri's poem, Inferno, with the 9 circles of hell. And lust is only the 2nd circle of hell, frankly. And so there's worse sins than lust. The 9th is the ultimate, and that's betrayal.
Right. Rufai.
I think the most important message the Pope said there was that of reconciliation, that we might have sinned and erred. Yes. But there's also a part for forgiveness. And that's the message of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know why? Because in all of this, it is the gossiping, the hatred that the people had against that man, that they kept on gossiping again to pull him down. Yeah. That was even deeper a sin than what he had done. He could have repented from that. And he did ask for forgiveness. And he had for forgiveness. He had repented. Yes. But the hatred of those people to say, and the pride to say, oh, how dare you do this? I think that's what the Pope was speaking about. Right. So the message is forgiveness.
Well,
forgiveness.
He who has never sinned, let him cast the first stone.
Well, thank you, Dr. Abati. That's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.